Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Napoleon Total War with the Great War mod playing as France. Last time around we defeated Mackensen just up here somewhere, and now we're ready to take Württemberg. We're also sending extra troops down to... where is the destroyer? Oh, it hasn't moved yet because the extra troops just came in. So they should get on. I thought they were already, or I didn't think they were already ready to be shipped away. Right, so we're shipping them away to increase the force that we have next to Serbia. I tried to look through the files. I could not find Serbia, so I could not increase the amount of money they receive. So I guess I'll try to boost them as much as possible with technology. The idea here is hopefully that they can stand on their own term. I mean, why have you gone for destroyers? And giving them petroleum acquisition doesn't really help either. Naval technologies. I don't know why they went for naval technology. I'm thinking here that we will actually go up to blockade the Ottoman port and just blockade them, because clearly they're not coming out and they're gonna sit there, so we might as well block them to make sure that no money gets through to them. Right, besides that, there isn't much more than the fact that I'm going to try and replace all units as much as possible, as we now have the new uniforms have come in. So we're going to get those in, hopefully, one way or another. But yeah, besides that, there isn't much else to be said. Let's go ahead and claim another province from the Germans, and then I think we'll strike out towards Oldenburg and seize that as well. Path blocked. Why is your path blocked? Probably because you were trying to move through here as you were going up here. So there's a German force. The German force that retreated after Mackensen has moved there and is resupplying there. You will move through there instead. Another path is blocked by these cannons. For some reason you decided to go through there as well. Not sure why. Sawmill and town. And then HMS Warspite commissioned. So the British get another ship. The Belgian Navy is out in force. Are they gonna try and go in and fight the Germans? Odd tidings. Let's go ahead and lay siege here. The Germans have basically nothing. I'm gonna demand surrender. The Germans agree to that. And we're going to occupy. Very good. Now, I think we will split the armed forces again. Just so I can get a little bit of an idea what kind of troops we have. So now we have 4 dragoons and 3 lancers. They worked really well in the last battle. I would say, though, in the last battle, let's not split the Golden Hawks. So, let's see, that one. And then these 2 will be sent here. And then we'll send a load of the infantry brigades. But we also have, oh yeah, Colonial Marines coming up. We'll be sending more of these guys off to there. And then you will join here. There's still some infantry that can be moved over. And yes, one more cheese puncher is going to join in. I was thinking here for a second that I would go ahead and reduce the military barracks that they have, but then I figured, you know, then I would reduce my resupply rate. Right, we forced the German force out, but as you can see, there's lots of Austro-Hungarian troops coming in. So the Austro-Hungarians are moving in to aid the Germans, which seems like an odd way of working it. Also, yes, I lost my train my train of thought there. Last battle in the last video, where there was almost 40 units on either side, definitely took a hit in terms of the frames per second, and it became, I mean, most of the time it was below 30, so it wasn't very smooth and didn't look right. Now I think there might be, because of course there's a lot of units on the field, but it could also be that I have not been able to upgrade to Windows 11 for quite a while, and I had a friend over and he helped me. We had to go into BIOS and kind of figure out something with the motherboard, I believe, that would needed to be enabled. I don't know, he's better on the computer than I am, and he was able to figure something out, and now when I've actually upgraded to Windows 11, I feel like everything's kind of clunky, not in the way that you know, you're a bit unused to some of the different changes. Sometimes when I try to open my what's it called, the editing program, it doesn't open, and I have to restart the computer just to get it to open, and it's kind of strange stuff like that. So I wonder if that could be one of the reasons why it's so laggy. I also can kinda see some stuttering here just on the campaign map as well, but it could just be that we are looking at just the massive amounts of kind of changes here that could be part of it. I'm thinking we're gonna get rid of these units entirely, and then from back here we're going to get some of the new troops getting there, and this force is too far or too close to the front, so there's no point in trying to reduce that, and some of the cavalry units won't be reduced just yet. I figure I will send the cavalry into kind of a last hurrah, and then reform them into new cavalry groups. So there will be one point where I basically will throw them away, and I think that will be perhaps not satisfying to lose them, but it'll be like we lost the old style cavalry and now we got the new style. Also, all these old battalions should probably be switched out, if it weren't for the fact that I think the reserve battalions are a little bit more expensive. So I might just keep the old uniforms for those troops. Also, now when I upgrade this, we can actually get better universities, which is definitely something we should get. So we are... oh, we should probably... actually, which one has 2? This one has 2. So we might get that one first. And that took all my money. Right, let's continue through here. I would have to actually send the troops down to fight this force to be able to pick up the reinforcements, or they will try and have to meet each other somewhere around there. I figure that we'll leave Serbia for what it is and then head for the Ottomans, and if Serbia falls again, I'll just have to come back and save them once more. And then of course we're gonna go through here, and I'm going to lay siege to that to stop trade going either way and reduce the amount of trade the enemy is receiving. The Ottomans don't have that many troops. It's 2 full stacks, so it's 40 units. So still a lot for me to take on with just a 20 unit stack. But I think I can manage. So far the Russians no problem. And no major issues here as of yet. But now I will go ahead and move through here. We'll take the Iron Brigade and move them through here. I do think I should add some troops to this. So we'll bring with us the Hussar Brigade, Youngban's 3rd, or the Brigade Infernal, the Infernal Brigade. together with the Iron Brigade and then the machine gun. And they will be ready to march across and attack Oldenburg. And kind of work that way to start off with anyways. And I figured then the enemy won't be able to kind of push through there, so we'll move more troops back here. And I can get some Senegalese troops up in here. Right, and then the troops are moving that way, everything looks fine. We will once more end turn, and then either if the Austrians strike us here, or if I strike at Oldenburg. Right, once more, end turn. And there we go, the end turn is done. We have technological advances, so research completed is mountain warfare doctrine and rail centralization. And then we have a new artillery factory down in Provence, which allows me, well, the new technology gives me the mountain gun. Typhoid, Mary quarantined. Mary Malone, or Mary Mallon, Typhoid Mary, was quarantined at Riverside Hospital in North Brother Island, where she spent the rest of her life. Born with the typhoid, yes. Hopefully, Riverside, whatever, does not sound like France, so I hopefully don't have to worry about it. I say. Right. I figure I won't recruit anything down here just now. Instead, we will be continuing to recruit. If I'm gonna recruit some Senegalese troop here, I guess we'll make it an entire brigade of African troops, and then the chasseurs might have to be switched out. So we got 3 of those. And then of course I can recruit troops back here, so that's going to be infantry. So the guys with red, I figure, are the new units, and the ones without are the old ones, so you can easily tell them apart. And then since I have a membership unit that, or a brigade with cavalry, we'll at least replace that one, so we'll get some extra units there. And then the newly conquered area should start to replace troops from up here. Get some infantry going there. Get you into there. The Austro-Hungarians are moving north instead, trying to perhaps bypass that, or is that just a clever trick? I would try and go ahead and protect this factory right here, so I'm gonna move this force to sit right there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and attack Oldenburg and take that from the Germans. The area is mostly held by cavalry. They have some of the new cavalry, and then a load of Home Guard divisions. This battle is actually so easy for me to win, because I have so many more troops that I can just out-resolve it. We only lost 376 men, while they lost their entire force. And with this, I have taken Oldenburg. Won't be able to repair it. And then Brave Soldier and Attacking General. Good. Oldenburg province, though, is kind of shit. Like, what even is this? The only thing they have is this little stable. But now taking that from the Germans. Then I'm thinking these 2 armies will combine and move forward and take this from the enemy. My spy plane is kinda good as it is, but I figure I'll move it actually to this side. It's a little bit of a stuttering as that plane is moving around on the screen. The Italians have yet to make their mind up, have they? I have not noticed that they are just trading with everyone. They they should join, right? There's like I went for the historical setting, so they should like be scripted to be joining us, should they not? I'm gonna move out and start moving towards here so we can be ready to receive the landing party here. So we can join each other, right? And the enemy is staying locked in port. What I should do is actually I should send away some of the ships that were so heavily damaged in the last battle, and I just keep the ones that are ready to fight, and we'll send these to be repaired. This might prompt the enemy to sally out, but I mean their biggest ship is a battle cruiser, and then they have a few pre-dreadnoughts. So I figure I'll outrange them and destroy them that way, even though they can now put down more guns on me. But a lot of the ships that I'm sending away didn't have many guns to begin with, so perhaps not a great loss. There's a lot of concentration of troops here. Potentially, I could push even further and take Hanover as well, and really put the pressure on the Germans. If I continue on here and take Hanover, that could push these units here to force them back, and then I could more easily combine all of this into one fight around here. But we'll see. I wonder though if this army might not try to sneak through and attack and cut me off from a retreat here. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the enemy has in store for me as I end turn. But before I go ahead and end turn, I want to switch up what I'm actually researching here. So I figure we'll go a little bit more on the industry side of things. And ooh, -3 in administration costs. That's really good. I'm not entirely sure how much administration cost I currently have, but right now it's giving me -12% in terms of tax income. So that could probably be quite good to remove a lot of those points. Removing 3 of those points is pretty big, I figure. Right, let's go ahead and turn, see what the enemy does, as they've kind of been lackluster to respond to any of my attacks, really. Oh, I completely forgot, there's still Austro-Hungarian ships up here in the... There's a battle cruiser and a pre-dreadnought battleship. This is not good. Now I'm hoping they cannot follow me, and they did not. Well, 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 there's no counterattack, and I was lucky enough to not have my destroyer sunk with all those troops. Ancillary gained. So last time we had one that gained a taxidermist. Now his fellow scholar decided to up him one ante by becoming a dusty librarian, or getting a dusty librarian, giving him 2 points. So it kind of evens out in that way, because the other one got weird about stuffed animals. We've got factory complexes being built. And the last Crusaders, a band of ghostly visitors, passed through the streets of Tbilisi, Georgia, according to local legend. Ah, yeah, they came in their old style warrior stuff. With the I believe you need the factories. Where the crap did I build them? Army. So I believe you need the factories to be able to get some of these heavier guns, but also the tanks and stuff. Now, we don't have a... what's it called? We don't have a artillery factory there, but we do have one down here. So here I will be able to later on get those units. We had a single German unit marching forward here, and then we have a few that's marched up here. So they're going in behind my lines, the bastards. Alright, we'll go ahead and repair this. Oh yes, the double, we can now, with the centralized tracks. So the best thing is, I figure, is to start it here, because the main road from the troops that we recruit in Paris is going to go through here to the front line, and then this unit, or this town here, and then Paris. So the rails would progress through here to get a quick advance as possible. I figure here the cavalry and the cannons should continue, but I am a little bit worried because the Germans are bringing a machine gun here, and a machine gun is strong enough that they could actually punch through those units right there. Meanwhile, I think I want to go for Hanover, but I still want to get the replenishment. So I'm going to go just as close to the border as I can, and then hope that I can kind of jump that in one go. The province is a little bit unhappy, so I'll detach. Well, maybe I shouldn't detach the Iron Brigade. Instead, we'll detach 4 units there. And I think that'll be fine, and then I'll be able to recruit new troops. And then we'll jump through there. So the battles I can do today is I can march up through here, but I would want to attack this force rather than go for this one. And then I could attack here. This time around, the enemy is actually outnumbering me rather than the other way around, as it was the last time. And given the situation here, I won't be able to break through. I can land right here on the corner, but I'll probably lose the unit because of that. Oh, it's going to take forever to march through that way. What I'll do here is I'll retreat back, set up on the bridge, and we'll see how that works out for me. And then the navy continues on this way to be repaired, and then it can actually go up through here, through the Adriatic Sea, to get rid of all enemy ships that are going through there. Right, I think we are ready for attack then. Oh, I'm stopped right in the last second there. And then I figure there's 2 turns. We'll hope for the best in terms of what's going on here. Right. Once more then, let's go ahead and end turn and hope that the enemy does not break through and cut our supply lines. Well, surprise, surprise, the Austrians sank my destroyer, but not before my destroyer actually shot and killed their admiral. So even at the very end, the Hercule was able to send off a final defiant broadside against the enemy. Opportunity to intercept. This gives me the information that the enemy does outnumber me by about 2,000 men, but they bring no cannons, which means that this river crossing point becomes a rather interesting point. I am intercepting them, which means that we should really be fighting here. But sometimes the way it works, we might be fighting there. I figure though, if I reject the interception, they will not go ahead and attack me, but they will pass by me and go for the Serbian capital. So I figure we'll take the fight. Even though I am the force to intercept them, I get to choose the battlefield, and we choose the river crossing. I have dug in my troops here on the high ground above the river crossing. I've got 3 units up here, so the 2 new units plus the French Foreign Legion. Then we have the Alpine troops over here, and then the light troops over here. It's going to swing in and kill the enemy over there. I neglected to think that the enemy might cross the bridge, because the AI normally doesn't. But it almost looks like they're actually moving just as many troops as they're moving over here as they're going to move over the bridge. Now I'm kicking myself because I didn't move troops here sooner, because having my troops firing down here as the enemy tries to cross would just create such a carnage for the enemy that it would be kind of insane. Now the carnage is still pretty darn impressive, as the units that did come across are getting cut to pieces here by my troops. I decided to move 2 units up here while I forced 2 units into the flank, and now the units that did come across are facing a tremendous crossfire here and just being completely torn to shreds. Torn to shreds, you say? How terrible. Right, so there's, I think the other 5 units there are kind of like, maybe we shouldn't go cross here. Well, I'll tell you this, it's probably not going to be much better here. Oh, the general unit has actually been upgraded so that he's now got the blue uniform. Okay, so it's my Algerians open fire first, and then it's the new regular infantry opening fire, and then we hope the French Foreign Legion is about to open fire as well. The light troops have opened fire a bit as well. The enemy looks a little bit hesitant if they want to cross, so they're actually pulling back slightly, so they're not committing the troops across the river right away. They're actually pulling back under such withering fire. Perhaps if I told my units to hold fire, they might be more interested in coming across. Now, sending my 4 units across to try and take on 5 units would be suicide. So it's better than to focus on trying, if we want to go across here. What are you shooting at? Oh, some retreating units over there. I figure I'd keep 2 units here in case they want to come across, but then I'm going to order these 2 to come across here. So we have 1 enemy unit that have come across and that we now open fire upon. 50 men fall immediately, and then another 50, and so on, and the unit is very quickly cut to shreds with no hope in sight, as it's cut down to less than 40 men. They still continue on though. Alright, let's not waste any ammo here. Oh. The entire unit is destroyed. Right, and suddenly the battle got really quiet as the enemy is not looking to push across the river. I have such a nice position up here on the hill that I'm not super interested in coming down across it to go across to fight the enemy, but if they're not interested in coming against me, then I guess I have no choice but to march down and fight where they are. And ordering the commander here to saddle up again. If I'm going in here with force, I might be able to crush these, and it might then be better to have all 4 units forcing their way across, as this force will then be scrambling to aid this side. Right, let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit. The enemy now moves to prepare to fight back. But I figure my units are more numerous and more experienced. Or at least I'm able to lay more fire down on them than they are on me. And they kind of caught in a position where they're not ready to lay fire down upon me. So we're tearing this unit up and we're firing into all of this where they're not really returning fire. Oh damn, the drop in frames as I got close to this. Look at that, they've completely now abandoned the bridge, more or less. They're sending over 1 unit of early Feldjägers. Bosnian-Herzegovina Feldjägers that want to come across the bridge. We'll see how that goes for them. But that means that if they're only going to lay 1 unit there, then I could come across and fight there. This unit is getting torn up. Now they're starting to actually return fire across the river as well. I'm going to send the general down here. The thing is, most of the concentration of enemy troops is over here, and I have a large part of my force over here. Question is if I dare order this part to try and force their way across. I figure as long as this unit is here, this Jaeger unit, there's no point in trying to cross. My Algerians have actually almost used up all their ammo. Before melee is the only option, I'm going to try and cross here now. Right, these units have plenty of ammo, but the Algerians, I don't think we gave them enough ammo. Right, the enemy has yet to really cross over, and we did fire upon them, but we didn't actually kill anyone. I'm thinking here, once they get closer up on the bridge, I will actually order my troops to... Oh, General, hold fire. So what I want you to do is inspire the Algerians and then actually bayonet charge. Enemy general was shot and killed as my Algerians goes in for the melee charge, trying to force away the Bosnian-Herzegovinian troops. I didn't like it that this infantry decided to shoot into the melee here. Right, I figure everyone should actually try and come across now. And the Algerians just broke 2 units here. Might they break a third? I'm going to order the general to join in. Right, now they're coming across the bridge. I'm going to order my 2 units up there. And we're going to see about shooting down the bridge. Right, the general is here to support. The Algerians just about to force away the 3rd enemy unit here. I figure I'll do as I did with the cavalry and order my men to go through the enemy unit and in that way break them. Right, I don't think we'll have... I think my guys are spent at this point, so I'll order them to position themselves and start shooting at the enemy. Right, the army is coming across, and now the Algerians are in need of aid because they're receiving a load of fire here. Meanwhile, we're shooting air across the bridge. Not that many of the enemy actually made it up onto the bridge. And also I figure we need to gain a little bit more ground here. I want to push through this bridge as soon as possible so that we can aid our troops. I figure the Algerians have done so much right now that they should be pushed back. So the Algerians and the lights should head over here. And then the Alpine troops, the infantry and the Foreign Legion will be the one to take this position right here. And then we'll see about moving forward and surrounding them. You know what I'll do? As there's fighting going on here, we're holding the enemy in position. I'll order the other 2 units to try and cross the bridge. Right, so now the Foreign Legion and the Alpine troops and the infantry has come across. And we'll see about the enemy is actually moving back here, leaving the 76th Infantry on its own to get gunned down by the rest of my troops. And meanwhile the lights are forming on this side and they're gonna move forward here in force and overwhelm and then flank the enemy and actually take the high ground from them. I believe I ordered you to cross the river, which you should do at great speed, because the longer you're on there, the bigger the likelihood of you getting gunned down. Alright, so that unit was forced away. You should move up to gain ground to fire at the unit over there, the 74th. And then this entire side should come forward, and then the general joins in here. You know what? I figure we can charge him down. You should stay on this side of the river and provide a little bit of covering fire against the 78th. And then the units that are coming across will line up here to deal with them from this side. So we'll create 2 angles of fire there down upon the enemy. Right, the Austro-Hungarians are actually pushing into an attack. So again, the Trilliers, the Algerians, and the new Algerians and the old Algerians will both be ordered into a charge to force this unit away. And then the enemy looks pretty ripe to be forced away across the field here. Right, Let's force them off the field. With a massive charge of all the troops here. And then we're firing down upon this guy. While the rest of the Austrian forces is getting charged down
is soon to be yours.
by my troops. And they're now all running. And I'll order the general to pursue this force over here. And there we go, victory. I will pursue the enemy though, because I don't want to fight these guys again. A decisive victory. The enemy deployed 6,000 men, which they lost 5,500, while I deployed 4,200 men, where I lost about 2,000 of them, leaving about 2,300 men left after the battle. The enemy has 510 men left after the battle. I killed about 400 of my own, while the enemy killed close to about 300 of their own. Perhaps 400 actually of their own as well. Highest killers here goes to the French Foreign Legion actually, killing 1,200 enemy soldiers, followed by the Algerians at 644, bravely charging across the river, clearing the way for the others. And then at the very end, the general killing 212, but that was in the retreat, so perhaps not as glorious. Enemy raid at Heidelberg. Letter of demand from Frisia, Oldenburg. Path blocked by this force right here. I don't know who's blocking it. It's going to make the way up through there. The Angels of Mons. Article published, spiritualist, blah 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 blah. When a small British expeditionary force fought the first engagement there, the Belgian fell in Mons, resulting in yes, something the spirits. Right, a lot of new troops being recruited. The destroyer sunk, unfortunately, by the Austro-Hungarians, and lots of new buildings being built. We'll pursue and destroy the Austrian force. And to resolve, 68 men lost, 441 kills. Wonderful. And then we'll be heading down to meet this force. Or perhaps not. Perhaps this one should cut across that way. And you should cut across this way. And then we will gain access. What's this? Just remember I'm right behind you. Aerial defense and morale in battle. Miles behind in Paris. He was right there with them. He even dismounted right in the battle before. And he was there killing people. He killed 212. We're gonna go ahead and gather them here, and then we're gonna see about getting access to march through Greece, and then we're going to launch an attack on the Ottomans, clearing out that way. You're gonna continue on to replenish there. Troops being recruited. The force that came down that I was worried they're gonna attack here actually went back, and they decided to attack the factory complex there instead. And then we got all of these troops marching through there. I figure we'll hold back on this for just a little while because they're so unruly up here. I won't be able to move here yet. Political change. Oh. What am I missing there? It's probably a new technology that's going down. What's going to come up behind me? Don't know, but let's have our second battle. The enemy deploys 2 machine guns, a number of Alpencorps, some reserve battalions, Ruhr assault battalion, and then lots of infantry, some Bavarian cavalry and dragoons, and then there's going to be 3 battalions turning up behind me. No problem though, the enemy deploys 5,700 men against my 6,200. The great advantage for me here is that I have brought 3 guns while they have none, and I have plenty of cavalry as well, ready to force my way through the enemy lines. With that said, let's go ahead and fight. I guess it escaped me that this is actually also a river crossing battle, but this time I am forced to cross. As the enemy used the bridge last time around, or at least tried to, or they managed to successfully get 2 units over. I figure I'll be sending 1 unit or 1 brigade of 5 units over to the bridge and 1 over to the river crossing. Most of the cavalry will be set to go across here if there's an opportunity to exploit. Otherwise, I've got 2 units here to sit on that side as well. With that said, let's go ahead and start the battle. Get these guys going as soon as possible. Did I put 6 units here? That's unnecessary. I should have put more at the river crossing. Right at the start though, it looks like the enemy is moving troops that way. I placed the cavalry as... Wait, they only have machine guns. I don't have to hide the cavalry as much as I did before. So, yeah, there we go. So we can move up the general a little bit. It's going to be important to suppress the enemy's machine guns wherever we find them. Oh, they've put barbed wire there. Damn. That's going to make it a little bit harder for my cavalry to get across. There's still plenty to go across on that side. But there might be more barbed wire here and there. I think I made the right choice of setting my... what's it called? My... field artillery. Oh crap, I forgot! The units that are coming up behind me! Cavalry, turn around immediately. Same with the cavalry over here. Turn around immediately. Oh, this is a disaster. And these are the very newly recruited dragoon units. Kind of saved there by the enemy deciding to reform rather than continuing shooting onto my men. The rest of the cavalry is on their way. Let's see about getting the 2nd Dragoon unit up here into the corner. This is kind of a disaster. And then I sent way too many troops up here. He's defeated and forced away, but then you can open up fire now. Can get at least one shot off before I decide to order you in here. And then just the rest of all the cavalry here going in. And combining all the cavalry units to just come charging down here onto the enemy units and crushing them. Right. I was about to say this field gun was good that I set it on this side, because here's where the cavalry is. Okay, so the Germans are trying to cross the bridge. It's not going too well. We got shrapnel firing down upon them and tons of rifle fire. I figure since they're so broken up, I'm actually going to order the 14th to try and cross. And then these 3 units will move up to the edge here, so they'll be able to fire across. Oh, there's the enemy machine gun. Go ahead and suppress that, and then we'll see about getting these guys across. No, there's the other machine gun. They've placed it way out here. I think it's firing into the side of the mountain, so it's not actually doing all that much. Oh, the Germans tried to get across here. I completely missed that, and Jesus Christ, how did I miss all of this? There's like thousands of men dead here. I'm gonna tell the explosive shot artillery here to focus in on the enemy's machine guns. What are you fighting? Oh, you're still fighting retreating troops? You should head back here.
Our men are running, sir.
I actually had an idea of sending the cavalry into the machine guns, but doesn't seem like that's going to be a thing now. Right, my troops are trying to get across the river, but I'm not sure if they were broken by the enemy machine gun or if they not entirely sure what happened, what broke them, because there's not that much fire coming down upon them. Is this unit getting shot up by the machine gun? I'm not entirely sure. I'll figure I'll try and cross here now. Because the cavalry just had a major... Oh, the 3rd unit came out. I missed that. But I figure now a lot of the cavalry is tired and winded. So it's going to be hard to get them across, quickly across here. Perhaps I was a little bit too hasty to try and send every single unit across. The enemy commander just got killed, riding there next to his cavalry. We're focusing in a lot of artillery here. Don't seem to be hitting anything though. That looked like it was almost a direct hit. Clearly not though, as they're still fighting. I've sent loads of units across. Gonna have one unit though set up to fire on the dragoons. You guys finished that unit, right? I'll figure we might split the units then to have the Lancers trying to go over the bridge, and then the dragoons heading over this side right here. Their machine gun is actually going into within range of my units. What I will do here, the machine gun is stationary, so I might get a better assault by aiming for the ground. Right, my units are across. I'll leave one to deal with that, and then these three are gonna set up to aim this way as the enemy is coming through there. I'm hoping here we'll do some more damage on that machine gun. And then I've got units rallying on this side. Their machine gun is getting shot up, so that's actually going quite well. I'll order the Lancers to try and get across, and then the goons to hurry up down there. The machine guns are intact. Since it's being so difficult to shoot those guys, I am gonna focus in on firing on the troops over here, the concentration of troops there. This unit should actually gain this high ground, looking down upon the advancing Germans, while these two units move forward. Heavy fighting here. The machine gun has now lost one of its machine guns, and now the Lancers are coming across the bridge, so they will be able to force their way through. Enemy cavalry is leading the enemy units here while they're being bombarded by my artillery. Let's see. Here comes the Lancers.
A glorious victory, sir, is soon to be yours.
And they're coming across the river. Going for the machine gun first. Routing that, and then heading off onto the enemy cavalry. And then routing that as well. And then having my Lancers cross, gather here, and then they're going to try and swing down on the two units that are situated right there. My Dragoons now ready to cross. You should head down there. The enemy is kind of breaking over here, so I will countercharge, and then I will tell these two pieces of artillery to fire on the enemy there instead. And for the shrapnel shot to go over there. I think that's over by the bridge, that they're out of shot there. I figure we might be able to shock the two German units into retreat. We've forced one away, and there goes the other one. And now the Lancers go down for this bit, and then we'll see about having the Dragoons avoid the barbed wire and then swinging around, hitting that machine gun. And then we will be victorious. All the infantry on this side will now try to cross as the Lancers go in for their charge here to get rid of some of these infantry units down by the river. Also tell the shrapnel shot artillery to hold fire there. Right, so we forced those guys away, and now the Dragoons have come across. They move around the barbed wire, and then they will be hitting that machine gun down there. I thought we would suffer a lot more casualties, given that my machine guns have in the past killed so many troops. I don't know how I managed to miss all the enemies that came across here. Oh, the enemy machine gun gave up before we even got to a fight. But everyone here, I completely missed that the Germans tried to cross here, and we absolutely murdered them. We lost a lot of men as well, though.
A glorious...
And here's the result of the battle. Well, when I said that I was surprised that I didn't suffer that many casualties, I did suffer about half of the army. We deployed 6,000 men and we lost 2,500, so almost half. The enemy, though, deployed 6,900 under the command of the Prince Leopold of Bavaria, where they lost 6,857. Meaning only 95 of them made it out, while I still have an army of 3,678 men. The enemy killed 1,900, which means that I killed close to 600 of my own troops. Which seems way too high. But yeah, the friendly fire is you know, it goes so quickly. It can so quickly mount... Anyways, the unit that killed the most killed 1,000 enemies, followed by 800, 600, and so on. So massive amounts of casualties done by the infantry. I imagine it is the units that held the river on the left side, because all those troops that Germans that tried to come across the river got absolutely massacred over there, and I can imagine that they are the ones that massacred them. And then General managed to get 2 kills somehow, and we one Dragoon unit getting 59. Right, there we go, and that kind of clears away that. I should actually come across and get rid of this army entirely. And also head across the river here so that I get reinforcements. Oh, he's also right behind you. And confident generals. He's confident, but he's confident back in Paris. There's a lot of generals ending up getting that right behind you trains. Right, so good. We took Oldenburg. We've destroyed a number of enemy armies, and we're opening up for an attack both on Hessen and Hanover. And then it looks like, because we crushed the Austrians here, that I will be able to combine these two forces and actually make a play for Constantinople. Wonderful. And so far as I can see, our enemies have made no advances anywhere. Now I'm just waiting for the Italians to join in the war, so that we can put even more pressure on our enemies. Let's see if we can't get... I think this one builds to something else, so we might just have to have that one. Ah! deserves. They are very generous and somehow more technologically advanced than me. With only one center of learning. But there we go. Right. We know what's going on and everything is going rather well, I'd say. And on that note, I will be saying, like I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed this and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.